Today we have the privilege of interviewing a true rock star, Aaron Alexander Reid. Many of you may know Aaron as the son of L.A. Reid and Pebbles or the star of MTV's My Super Sweet 16. Today, Aaron will share with you why he is a true rock star in his own right.
Aaron comes from a legacy of musical geniuses. How did growing up in such a creative household affect you in your decision to pursue a career in entertainment?
Honestly, just being around entertainment as a kid, my whole life definitely played a part in what I do now, but I definitely didn't feel any kind of like pressure to just do that, It's something that I just kind of got into, and it really just happened naturally. And, music is my first love, so I always knew that I would do music. I just never really knew what it was going to be.
Being musical and having this gift is definitely something that's rare, it's special, it's something that everyone does not have. And for you, it just seems so natural just through your different work that you've put out. So at what age did you really decide this was your passion? Was it a certain song you sang? How did it make you feel?
It was about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I really decided to buckle down. And it was actually when I dropped out of college. I went to Morehouse for 2 years. And it was a good experience, but during that time, I found music to be kind of therapeutic to me in a way that it had never been, because I started, making beats and creating. And then when I finally made the decision to leave school, I practically, locked myself in the studio for 9 to 10 months and really, began to master my craft and write songs, write hooks, write records with other people, do features. And, it just kind of took off from there.
You have grown up around a lot of entertainers in the entertainment field. Who was your influence?
Growing up, Usher was one of my biggest inspirations. He's like my big brother. I love Usher. And, I remember being a kid having conversations and, talking to him about dancing and music and stuff like that. And, Usher definitely played a big role in that. Other people, Pink, watching Pink go from being an R&B artist to a rock star, that definitely changed my perception of her. And then, as of right now, I'm a huge Lenny Kravitz fan. I think that he's a genius. I think he's not given the credit that he really deserves, personally. And, I listen to, I'm inspired by a lot of new artists, A$AP Rocky and The Weeknd and Rich Hill and, just a lot of different people out now, And then the old times, the 60s, 70s, all the way up to the 90s and 2000s.
Definitely. So if you could just kind of tell us a little bit more about your project, The Experience, what inspired you to create this musical masterpiece?
Thank you so much for calling it a masterpiece. I really appreciate that. It's a masterpiece to me as well. And really, what inspired me to create that was, I think I just wanted to, when I was in the studio, making all the songs, I was really thinking about doing something that, hadn't been done before, and really, putting myself into an older mindset, but bringing it to new school and bringing my new style. So what I was doing was kind of just mixing elements of the new and the young, the new and the old rather. And it's just really, the inspiration came from, the Jimi Hendrix experience. That's where I got the name from. And then, it's just so many different vibes on that album. I have a Lenny Kravitz vibe, a Jimi Hendrix vibe, a Nirvana vibe, just so many different vibes, and it's a great piece of work, honestly.
As many of our listeners know, our favorite track off of The Experience is Fly Away. The song just feels right. Like so many of the other songs, like I said, it's a masterpiece. So for you, what would you say is your favorite song off the project?
My favorite song off the project is definitely, Fly Away is definitely one of them. That song means so much to me, and if you listen to the beginning of that, the intro of that song is Jim Morrison talking about the future of music and how, people are going, 10 years ago rock and roll was this sound and then now it's this, and then, You know, coming into today's society, you know, rock and roll is more of a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much just about making rock music. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's like Fly Away is definitely like one of my favorite songs. Another one of my favorite songs is Thinking of You. That's a great record. Rock Life Part 1 with my brother Rich Hill. I think that's like today's Element, you know, and it's just like such a chill vibe. And then another one of my favorite records, probably my favorite record, is probably All That We Need, because it's just so like it draws you in, you know, like it just you don't want to stop listening to it. It draws you in, and it's such a chill vibe. And I got that inspiration from like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and like, you know, it's just like a beautiful song to me.
It is. It is.
Not only are you a singer, but you are also a songwriter and producer. Anyone knows anything about production knows that this is an extensive process. What would you say was the most fulfilling and challenging experience when you created the experience?
Definitely, you know, mixing the live element with the harder drums and stuff like that, and giving it an electronic feel. You know, the different sounds, because I oversaw every track that's on there. You know, I produced half of it, but then I wrote everything, and I vocal produced everything. So I oversaw everything on that project, and it's just like, man, it just the whole project was a real like experience. Honestly, it was an experience making it. You know, experience is like the perfect name for it.
Yes.
You definitely can just feel that from listening to it. We like to describe it as an edgy yet smooth piece. And we heard you mention Jimi Hendrix and Lenny Kravitz throughout our interview today, but we've also noticed that a lot of people are comparing you to these two musical legends. So, you know, how do you react to those comparisons to Jimi Hendrix and Lenny Kravitz?
Oh my God, it's unreal. You know, it's unreal because I look up to them in a way that's like, I can't even put it in words, like how they influence me. So to even be mentioned with those guys, to me, is just historical, and it's really just incredible. You know, it's an honor. It's an honor, and honestly, man, you know, I get inspired by things, and I just bring that to my world. I just bring it into my music. So, you know, the people saying that I sound like Lenny Kravitz or like that I'm like a newer, younger version, like that is like incredible to me, honestly. And because I love Lenny, and I'll always love his music, and he's inspired me in so many ways. And Hendrix, you know, his style, his, you know, everything about Jimi Hendrix is a genius to me. So it's really just an honor, if anything, when I hear that, you know?
Definitely, and it's so nice that you're so humble. Despite your rise to success right now, you're still humble, and the idea that you even be compared to these great legends, you're not allowing it to, you know, make you big-headed or anything. You're saying, you know, it's an honor for me to even be compared to that, which makes you that much more of a great artist. So definitely kudos to you for that.
I'm going to remain humble because that's the person that I am. I just want to work hard, make great music, have a cult following one day, and that's all I'm focused on.
We know that this is only the beginning for you. Where do you see your career in 5 to 10 years from now?
I see my career in full throttle, you know, me on tour, doing movies, producing television shows in clothing and jewelry. You know, I see myself really branding myself as a real rock star, and people respecting me for that, and me moving in that path. You know, me getting co-signed by a lot of rock stars, me doing records with Lenny Kravitz, me, you know, doing records with Travis Barker, or, you know, even you know, doing covers of, like, some of my favorite, you know, artists. Like, I see myself in 5 years, I see me being one of the most influential people in the planet.
That's a great goal to have. We definitely see that for you too, just because you're so hungry for it. It's not like some people who are just doing it to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we can see that this is your passion. It's not something that is just, you know, I woke up one day and I decided that I wanted to be a rock star. It's something that you embody. It's something that you are. And I feel like that's definitely something that we see, and so many of your fans also see that. So So Real Talk with the Misses, we're in this series, it's called The 20s Takeover, and basically what this series is about is just focusing on sharing some of the stories of the most successful individuals of our world who are in their 20s, which is what made us reach out to you, because you are such a success at this point, and we know that you only have so much more to give to the world. So with that being said, what words of wisdom can you share with our audience and your fans for our 20s Takeover series?
Young people run everything. That's my advice. Find your lane and stay in it, and just master your craft. You know, be the best you that you can possibly be. Don't worry about, following other people, because others will follow you.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Aaron, just for sharing with us the journey to the experience. And we definitely would love to one day get you down here to the University of Illinois sometime in the near future for possibly a show or a meet and greet, just for the audience out here. You truly are a rock star with a huge future ahead of you.
If you can set up a show for me there, I would love to come there and speak to people and perform. I'd love to do that. So, it's whatever to me.
Thank you so
much again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.